Okay, so we continue with our class Laws of Shabbos. Today's class number 69. And we start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim. And the title is Unsafe Products. Okay. It is permissible to warn people that the product is dangerous. There is, if the warning is truly warranted. Countless items, countless items are potentially dangerous if misused. And many processed food are unhealthy if consumed in large quantities. In such a cases, the labeling them as dangerous is wrong. Okay, so first of all, so we're talking about the laws of Lashon Hara. First, if you know that something is dangerous, let's say they didn't announce yet, but you heard that something like, I don't know, from a reliable source, so you're allowed to tell other people, to warn other people that not to take this thing. Or maybe like there is some danger in using that. So, but if something is unhealthy, if you use it in a large quantity, that's not reason to talk about it. As we learn in the Rambam, everything is dangerous in a big quantities. Even as Rambam put it, even healthy food. If you eat too much of healthy food, it's also not good for you.
So wouldn't this apply? Let's say a place is very, very expensive. Would that also apply for no reason? Like they're just expensive?
No. I mean, I mean, it's totally different from what we're talking about. So even if they ask you, right? So let's say you went to this restaurant and they ask you, was it expensive or not? So you can tell them the prices and let them decide.
Mm-hmm.
Some people specifically go to like an expensive restaurant to show off. Right? They would stand next to the entrance and go in, go out, so everybody would pass by and see that I'm eating in this expensive restaurant. So for them, there is no problem. Understand? Okay. Okay, so continue. Labeling an item as unsafe is justified only in such declaration is considered reasonable by normal standards. Okay. Furthermore, if the information is known firsthand, this must be mentioned when relating, not known as a firsthand, when relating the information. So basically, if somebody in our family had some side effects, right? I don't know, from this food, so you're allowed to mention. But if it's neighbor's cousin's uncle, so you have to say, that's what I heard. You have to like say it explicitly. I didn't witness, but somebody told me. That's the thing. If manufacturer is a Jewish, that's right. He must be spoken to first. So if it's Jewish, you have to talk to him, like warn him, right? Why? So that you have this dangerous product. Failure to fulfill the above conditions would render statement Lashon Hara, as would it would cause the harm to the manufacturer, as well to the consumer, who will needlessly avoid the product. Okay, so if you think that something is dangerous, you have to talk to the manufacturer. We're talking about Jewish. If it's not Jewish, you're not obligated, basically. Okay, so we stop here. So continue. So today we're learning the milach of temporary oil. Okay, so just to remind us what we said before. So oil is a tent. So we're not allowed. So it's a continuation of milach of building. We're not allowed to build on Shabbos. And one of the talada of building, talada is a branch out, right? Is a tent. Right, and tent, we said it's a roof, right? Some kind of roof with at least two walls, and the width of the wall should be a tefach. Tefach is like what was it? Like 3.5-4 inches approximately, right? So that's only then it's considered to be canopy. I mean, in the canopy, meaning that was it, the oil, the tent. Okay. So continue with next example. C, opening a folding canopy. Okay, so you have a porch and you have this canopy, right? Umbrella, basically. The prohibition of the temporary oil does not apply to the folding canopy that was assembled before Shabbos and now needs nothing more than to be unfolded. The rabbinic prohibition was to create or assemble an oil. So create or assemble, right? But if you just extend, there is no problem. This canopy, however, is already assembled. Therefore, there is not included in this prohibition. So it's not. This canopy is not an umbrella. So I think today, I'm not sure how it's popular today. Maybe in restaurants in the city and stuff like that. So it's like you have a porch, and on the top of your porch you have this what is it? This mechanism and this like this thing, this canopy made of the fabric. So you crank, right? You open and you close. So basically, it's a little open. So we said you always can continue opening. So it must be open at least on a tefach. Tefach is a feast, right? So if it opened for 3.5, 4 inches, and before Shabbos, and then you continue open, there is no problem according to all opinions. So we can continue open. You cannot build from if it's closed completely, you're not allowed to open. If it's a little open, you just continue. Make sense?
Yes, Rabbi. What page are we on?
435.
Understood.
Okay, continue. According to many poskim, this permit applies even when the folding canopy is being used to protect person. For example, from sun or rain. Okay, so commentaries say there are some poskim who rule that if canopy protects person, it may not be unfolded on Shabbos. Okay. But I mean, if in case of the need, we can rely on this linear opinion, of course. Thus, one is permitted to unfold a hood of a carriage on Shabbos, provided that it was attached to the carriage before Shabbos to protect baby from sun. So that's amazing thing. So you have this baby carriage, and you have this hood, right? It's foldable. So this hood had to be attached to the carriage before Shabbos, first of all, and it should be extended a little. So extended, like we said, tefach 3.5, 4 inches, so that you continue extending. Okay.
Rabbi, if I didn't fold the if I didn't assemble the canopy myself, it's still okay. Let's say a company did it for me. You know, I bought something from a company, they assembled, so on and so forth. Obviously.
That's not what assembled me. Assembled me means that you did do it on Shabbos.
Oh, got it. Okay. So with an umbrella, it seems like from this halach, it's fine, no?
Umbrella from this halacha is fine, but we don't do it.
Why not? Oh yeah. Oh, it's
First of all, it's a famous question, and many people think that the problem with umbrella is the oil. It's not. Because we said that the problem is a tent. Tent must have a walls, as we said, at least 2 facing walls. Here, there is no facing walls. There is one pole and very thin. So according to all of the definition of oil, it's not an oil. But there are different prohibitions. I don't remember exactly, but different prohibitions. Not this one. Okay. And it's not building because it was built before, so it's not there. And even if it was open before Shabbos, let's say, right? So you're still not allowed to use it. Okay, so continue. D, where the roof is supported by a person, right? So okay, let's see. The prohibition of temporary oil applies only to a roof that has independent support. For example, poles or wall. Okay. If, however, the roof is being supported by a person himself, the prohibition does not apply. For example, if one is permitted to protect himself from rain by holding a coat, a tefach above his head. So commentary say, of course, if he's carrying a coat, it must be area in which carrying is permitted on Shabbat. So let's try to understand. So you are allowed to, for example, you have a raincoat or whatever coat you have. It's raining, so you can like hold this like above your head, like umbrella. One of the definitions, just to remind what we said last time. So oil mean the tent. It should be like something underneath, and we said at least 1 tefach, so 3-4 inches between the roof and under the roof, empty space. So basically, if he puts this coat or whatever, this jacket on his head, there is no problem, right? But according to this, even if he holds above his head, there is no problem because it is supported by a person, but only if there is Eruv. So if there is no Eruv, so you're not allowed to carry. That's, I think, obvious.
Right. So if something's under 3 or 4 tefachim, what's it called? It's allowed to have a roof being held independently, or no?
Independent? Say it again.
If something's under 3 or 4 tefachim, right?
You mean from roof? So you have a roof and these 3
yeah.
Okay. So it is a roof. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's held independently dependently. It doesn't matter. No,
it does matter. We just said if person holds it, it's not considered to be holding. It's not considered to be roof. It must be walls or some support, some poles, like not a person.
Got it. So poles count as walls, or no?
Thick poles, yes. So it must be tefach. So this tefach, it's everywhere. So it's width of the pole and under the roof 1 tefach. Okay. Continue. B, a temporary wall. We stated above that the oil consists of 2 parts: the roof and the walls. So walls in a plural, as we said, minimum 2 walls. We have elucidated the laws of the temporary roof. We return now to the laws of the temporary wall. Okay, so temporary roof, meaning that something that fold in and unfold. Okay, now we're talking to going to temporary walls. Number 1. The general permit to erect the temporary wall. Okay, that's the topic, sorry. In most cases, one is permitted to erect temporary wall. For example, one made to stand for only a few days on Shabbat, since walls are not the main part of the oil. The sages did not include them in the prohibition. Okay, so some kind of temporary wall, no problem. Okay, so let's see the example and then we explain. Last one is permitted to temporarily hang up a curtain on Shabbos in order to create separation between men and women who are davening in the same room. Commentary. One might argue that this permit contradicts the prohibition cited below to erect partition that causes something to become halachically permitted. For by hanging up the curtain, the men and the women become permitted to daven in the same room. The answer is that in this case, the curtain is not needed to halachically divide the room into areas. Rather, it is needed only to prevent the men and women from mingling. Therefore, it is not prohibited. I mean, they go to different directions. Okay, so let's explain this halacha, and then we continue with ours. So okay, so this rabbi is saying that you're allowed to put a curtain. So basically, we have a rule that men and women cannot pray at the same time. Right? I mean, in the same room. Well, let's say you have in somebody's house a gathering of people, right? So it's possible women would go to the back, right, to the back of the room. Men facing this way, there is no problem. You don't need any curtain, you don't need any separation, basically. Or they can go to the different, like when you go to the Shiva's house, you want to pray in that room. So women just go to the kitchen, to different room, there is no problem. So you don't need separation. But let's say it's some kind of event and they want to put a curtain, some kind of curtain. So it's a temporary wall. Basically, we see it, of course it's not wall, but we call it a wall, like temporary wall, because it does not attach to the bottom. So if it's not all the way to the bottom, that's for sure it's not a wall, not halachic wall. Okay. So they say there is no problem because technically, even without this this separation, they can pray. Right? In some cases, if it would create like something to make allowable, you're not allowed to create the separation. I think the example would be if there is a sick person and he is laying in the bed, let's say in the living room, and he has like bookcase with the books, right? With a foreign, right? Holy books, right? Torah and others, right? So now he wants to go to the bathroom, like next door on a chamber pad. So he has to build some kind of separation. So this separation is halachic separation. So now he can go to the bathroom, because there is a separation, like I don't know, like 40 inches, whatever inches is it has to be tall. So that separation is halachically changing everything. But this separation, this curtain, as the rabbi said, that does not change the outcome. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a question because we're not allowed to go to the bathroom number 2 if someone can see us, right? Agree?
Yes. Yes.
So that means I'm not allowed to halachically close the bathroom door. Because if I halachically close the bathroom door, right, then nobody can see me going to the bathroom, right? And I'm allowed to go to the bathroom. But if I leave it open, I'm not halachically allowed because someone can see me using the bathroom.
What is it? I didn't get your example. You go to the bathroom, you lock the door, somebody comes, they see that the door is locked, and that's it. They know that somebody is there. I understand.
The door itself is a partition. We're making a partition. We're closing the door. That's
no. The door is not. No. You're not making partition. The door. There is something is normal use. So this door is a normal use. Is to lock it, to close after you go to the bathroom. So that there is no problem. It's not partition. Partition, like it was never there. So you want to build something on Shabbat. That's the partition.
So let's say over here we did halachically say you're making a partition, right? Wouldn't it still be allowed if I had a curtain, since the curtain is made to turn left and right and to fold and unfold?
Exactly. So that's why it is a temporary. That's why you would not be allowed to put something permanently there.
Got it. Okay.
You know, like mechitza in a synagogue. So you're not allowed to put it in that for the first time. Not because you're going to. It's permanent. But here our topic here. So maybe we just build off a little bit. Our topic is erected temporary wall. So curtain is a temporary wall. It's not a permanent wall.
Yeah. So one more thing. Over here they say that up and down, right? If you make it from up and down, if you connect it, it's considered permanent at that point. What if you connect it left and right to the sides?
No, it's not permanent.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Especially it has to be attached to the ground somehow to be permanent. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let me start from the beginning so we have a continuation. In most cases, one is permitted to erect temporary wall. There is one made to stand for only a few days on Shabbos. Since the walls are not the main part of the oil, so oil is a roof, the main part, right? The stages did not include them in the prohibition. Thus, one is permitted to temporarily hang up a curtain on Shabbos in order to create separation between men and women who are davening in the same room. So we say it's temporary wall. Classic example of temporary wall. The curtain may be attached only from above, but not from above and below, right? Because as you said, below, when you attach below, that's a definition of Sukkah. So if it's Sukkah does not attach below, then that's a big issue, right? I mean, if it's sturdy, like if it's not going to be moved with the wind, so that's attachment basically. The curtain may be attached only from above, but not from above and below. This would be regarded as a permanent wall and is forbidden under the melacha of building. So when you erect new wall, it's 100% building. Okay. Also, it must be hanged from the nails or hooks that were on the walls, on the wall or ceiling, whatever, before Shabbos. This one may not attach hook or pound the nail into the wall on Shabbos. We learned before. So why you're not allowed to pound the nail? Because it's building. So you attach something to existing structure. Forbidden. Continue. Number 2. The case in which erecting temporary wall is prohibited. Okay. Very interesting. If temporary wall is needed to divide room into different areas for halakhic reasons, it is forbidden to erect it on Shabbos. So if halacha changes, for example, if that big hall or that room that you hang the curtains so the women and men can down side by side, and it's only for the reason that the men would not look at the women. So it's halakhically permitted even without wall, right? If men turn a little to the side, so you don't need the wall basically, right? Since the wall or partition accomplish something in halakhic realm, it is regarded as significant structure. Therefore, the sages prohibited its creation on Shabbos. For example, right? So if halacha changes before this wall, before this separation, I was not able to do something. Now I can do. So that's the issue. Okay, with the wall. For example, if a person needs to perform his bodily needs in a room that contains foreign, exactly our example, yeah. For example, he's ill and cannot leave the room. That's a classic example. One may not partition the room by erecting the temporary wall between the person and foreign, since the partition would permit a person to perform his bodily function. Its creation is forbidden on Shabbos. So that's what we explained, but of course he explained it a little better. So this wall between you and foreign should that's have to be to the ceiling. I think it's a regular partition. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure how. No, it says okay. The wall is called a partition that permits. It's measured at least 40 tefachim and high, exactly as we said before. So 40 tefachim, approximately, it's a 40 inches, plus minus, a little less, 40 inches in height. A wall in less than 10 tefachim high cannot serve halachically to divide room into separate areas. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we say it's we make a wall that's going to be halachically considered a partition, right? Is it going to be the Rabbanan or the Raisa?
It's a good question. So so we build this wall. So I would say that depends what wall we are talking about. From what material, how exactly we build it.
Let's say the example that they use over here, where he's sick and he can't use the bathroom, and he has to go next to this farm, right?
It could be a curtain. It could be for example, I have this chair as you see, so it's a very high chair, so it's much more than 4 inches for sure. So if I put 2 chairs next to each other and I put the bed sheet on top of it, so here we go, you have a legit separation. So are you allowed to do that? Yeah, it's a temporary wall. So this would not be rabbinic in building, but as a legit separation, that would be prohibited.
So in this case, when we say that he's not allowed to make this partition, right? Shouldn't it be allowed for the sake of human dignity so that he could use the bathroom? Or just going off one thing and not the other? We're just disregarding it for the sake of the example.
I mean, what are you asking? It's a very good question, but I'm not sure. I mean, if it has no choice. I mean, he can go, when somebody can cover the books, right? There's another solution, that is just take a bed sheet, take a blanket, and cover the whole bookcase.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So that's also a solution. Okay. So continue. Number 3, exception to this prohibition. Okay, so it's okay.
A question here.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I understood recently, minutes ago, that if a person
You had what? I missed it. You had what?
understood minutes ago, as you explained, that a person, for example, somebody ill, if he has to perform bodily functions inside a room, that you cannot erect a temporary wall. Is that correct? So right?
No, okay. So let me explain. We're talking about, so he's in a room, and he has a Torah and other holy books in the same room. So he cannot go to the bathroom right next to his bed because of this sphorin. You understand? So he has to create this this partition, right? So it would be separate. Of course, he can see this foreign, but legally that's partition enough for him to allow to go to the bathroom.
No, because I was thinking about a hypothetical person who is ill and in a hospital room, and he has to perform some bodily functions without going to the bathroom.
Yes. But he does not have sphorim there, or he has like a nightstand right there, and he put it inside. There's no problem. That's here we go. They covered.
Another question is, I understood the word as oil, but how is it spelled? Because I don't get the word.
In English, they spell OHEL.
Okay.
Okay. So you got it. So what is not allowed to create a legal to create this separation, that now he can legally, it changes the status of the room. You understand? Well, when we hang the curtain from the ceiling for men to pray in the presence of the women, it does not change the status of the room. They could have turned sideways, the women there. I can pray. There's no problem. I don't see them. The only problem is to see women for men. That's it. Women can see men.
Rabbi, very quickly, going to Hilchos Brachos, right? About this, okay? No, about this, 100%. We said in Hilchos Brachos you can't see an unclad woman, right? But a clad woman, she's no problem to make a bracha next to. So do we say the same by
Stop. But bracha, say the word about bracha.
I'm making a bracha, right? You can't make it next to a woman who's not properly dressed.
Correct.
If she is properly dressed, no problems, right? No?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So finish your question.
So with the davening, isn't it the same thing, or it's more stringent?
Okay. So let me explain what David is bringing. It's very very good question. Okay. So we will learn in our Friday into tomorrow class, right? That we have Friday afternoon class. So you're not allowed to say blessing, right? You want to drink water, right? You're not allowed to make blessing on the water if next to you is a woman with a short sleeves, right? Short sleeves, she's open here, so you're not allowed to make a blessing. Okay, that's clear. We said it earlier. So now we say, but if she's covered, if she has like a long sleeve, she all covered, there is no problem. So what is the problem? You can say blessing. There is no problem whatsoever. You can say blessing, but they say that blessing is short. So a man can have concentration for 3.5 seconds, right? We know who men are, right? But davening is long, and as we know, all of us know when we pray, all of the bad thoughts can come into our mind, right? Unless you're angel, absolute angel, so bad thoughts come to your mind, right? So, and if they can come to your mind without any images, and here you see women, of course they're going to come to your mind even more, right? In 100 times more. So it doesn't matter. They perfectly clad. There is no problem. So that's why you're not allowed to pray in even absolutely dressed women in the presence. Okay, that's a good point. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, so we said that this one more time, this this separation should be 40 inches. So 40 no, sorry, I said it's 40 inches, but let's say let's round up, right? It's 40 inches. It's approximately 40 you multiply by 2.5 to convert it to centimeters. Okay. So continue. So number 3, exception to the prohibition. Adding adding to existing wall. Even in the case of a wall was created for halachic permit, if a tefach of a permitted wall was existence before Shabbos, one may add to it on Shabbos. For example, in the case of a room containing a sforim, if one tefach of the curtain was unfolded in front of the sforim before Shabbos, one may unfold it completely on Shabbos. So same concept with the room, right? We said, so if it's open a little, so you can continue. So if it was like almost closed, but a little open for one tefach, right? A little less, one tefach, so you can continue open. There is no problem, right? So it's continuation of the work. Yeah, go ahead.
I had this question. Let's say a door without a doorpost, so you wouldn't be able to put a mezuzah on it without door hinges, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now over there, since if let's say it was what's it called, more in width, right? Because it's only like 35 inches, whatever it is, the doorpost without the wall without the doorpost, right? And there's an opening in between, okay? But it was full, right? It would be considered a wall. So does that part without a doorpost, is it considered halachically as part of a wall? So I can add it?
It is wall, 100%. It is wall.
Got it.
Okay. Number 2, unfolding temporary wall which is attached to the house. Okay. One is permitted to draw out a folding wall that is attached to the house, even if this will halakhically divide the room into 2 separate areas. The sages forbade the person to erect the temporary partition, but not to draw out or unfold the one that already have been made. So that's I know, like if you go to the hotels when they have like huge room, right, and then they have all of this partition, like they have like rails on top, and they can draw this partition, just pull them out and to create separate smaller rooms. So one more time, since it was done before Shabbos, you just pull it out, there is no problem. Okay, so now practical applications. A, spreading a tablecloth. So very interesting. One is permitted to spread the tablecloth over the table on Shabbos, although the tablecloth drapes over the sides of the table, and similarly create a roof with walls. It is not forbidden, for there is no tefach of empty space beneath the cloth at the table. Therefore, the cloth is not considered a roof. So let me just explain what it said. I think it's a very interesting example. It's a classic example. So you have a table, and you want to put the tablecloth on a table. So when you put the tablecloth, it's hanging on the sides. So these sides would like you have a roof right on top, on a flat top, and you have walls on the side. So we say there is no problem, because one very important condition of the oil is not met. What? Should be a tefach, this 3.5, 4 inches between the roof and like under the roof, empty space. There is none, because your tablecloth lay flat on the table. Make sense? Okay. So next one is B. Next example: spreading a talus over people. It is a custom to spread towels over the heads of the congregation in reading Hassan Torah in Hassan Bereshis on Simchas Torah. This does not violate the prohibition of the temporary oil, for the talus is held by the people themselves. A roof supported by people is not included in the prohibition. So let's try to understand what it says. So on the Simchas Torah, when we finish reading Torah, right? So we one of the people buys this Hassan Torah, meaning that the last person who is going to read from the Torah, the last aliyah. So they usually pay a lot of money. So what we take big talis. So I don't know, from big guy, and all of the people like holding together, and they stand under the chuppah. So in this case, it looks like. So if I'm holding, of course, I'm more than 3 inches, right? So it looks like I'm support, right? And it's like a tent. So they say no problem. Because why? Because people are not considered to be like support, right?
Rabbi, is this true with an Evid?
Is what?
An Evid, a slave.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's considered what's it called? Not completely human. So what's it called? He counts as
no. Slave completely human. What is it? No, I mean he's the slave. If it's Evet Canaan, right? If it's a Canaanite slave, so I mean he's partially converted to Judaism. Like he has an obligation less than a Jewish woman, because he has to do all of the work. But yeah, okay. So we said there is no problem because people holding these towels. There is no problem. Continue. Draping a blanket over chairs. It is forbidden for children to drape blanket over two chairs on Shabbos in order to make the tent in which to play. Because the blanket is used as covering for people, it is prohibited even though it lacks the walls. So the children will want to play. Let's say they have this chair and another chair, and they want to put the blanket and sit underneath. It would be forbidden. Why? Because we said before, one of the category, there are three different categories for or 2 different category for the roof. One of them was that used for people and animals. Second was for storage, and I think third was just in case, right? Yeah, there are three categories if I remember correctly. So now since it is for children, for human, basically, we're not allowed. Even there is no walls. I mean, I would say if you have chairs, why they have walls? Okay. Well, but anyway, it is forbidden. Continue. Covering pots. One is permitted to cover pot on Shabbos, even if the pot had been moved to a new location on Shabbos, whereby its walls are considered to have been newly erected on Shabbos. See the page 432. And even if there is a tefach space between the lid and the contents of the pot, covering the pot does not violate the prohibition of temporary oil. Let me explain what it says here. So before we said this example is a box. Remember we said like milk crate. So you have a box, right? And you put it upside, like opens part up, right? If you move this box to another location and put it down, it's like you created these walls in some other place. So you're not allowed to cover this box with something else. You understand? So the classic example that we said, you have a milk crate. You need to reach something like on top, somewhere on top. So you put a milk crate like on this plastic box. You put some like piece of plywood, and you want to climb. That's the problem, right? Why? Because you have 4 walls that you erected because you moved to a different place. You put a roof, this plywood, and there is more than tefach under this plywood. So they say same. No, so they say here is different. You have a cooking pot, right? It's empty or half empty, whatever. So you have and you have this lid. So lid is like a cover, right? and you have the tefach, which is empty space from the lid until the bottom of the pot or until where the food is. So they say there is no problem. Even if you move it to a different place, there is no problem. I mean, they do not explain. They do not explain, but my understanding is because it's normal use of this utensil. It's not like I'm creating a tent. Okay. Continue. But in our first example, when he has this milk crate, it's not normal use of the milk crate. Okay. So that's why it would be forbidden. Clear? Any questions for what we said? Okay, then we go to next example. Spreading tarpaulin on top of the sukkah. One is permitted to spread the tarp over the sukkah on Shabbos to protect against rain as long as the tarp is laying directly on the skach. Since there is no tefach of empty space beneath the tarpaulin, it is not deemed to be a roof. If, however, the tarpaulin is raised a tefach above the skach, it may not be unrolled on Shabbos, for it is then regarded as a roof. In that case, one who wishes to use a tarpaulin on Shabbos must unroll a tefach. Tefach is 4 inches, 3.5 4 inches, of it before Shabbos. He is then permitted to unroll the fully on Shabbos. So okay, so let's. I think it's the most practical example. I mean, they're all practical, but this one, for me at least, very practical. So you have Sukkah, right, and you want to cover with this tarpaulin. It's like this what is it? This blue plastic, right? Thick plastic, right? So because you don't want water to go inside of your sukkah. So as we said, an example with this tablecloth, if you just put it on top of the skach, the roof of the sukkah, there is no problem whatsoever, because it's not one of the conditions that should be tefach between whatever your roof and whatever you put, it does not exist. So basically, there is no problem. But they say in a different example, somehow, I'm not sure why, but somehow you don't want to put it on a skach. You want to put leave some empty space between the roof and skach, meaning the roof of the sukkah, and then this tarpaulin, this plastic. So in this case, they say you have to make it unrolled, at least tefach, and then you continue unrolling. Same as a baby carriage. But I think it's those are very practical examples. We always have this plastic and cover if needed. So I mean, some people do not care. I mean, their own business. But we also have this dry sukkah, and you can, like, right after rain, you just remove the plastic. You can see it. There is no problem. I mean, few drops here and there, but basically, I think that's a good idea. Okay, continue. F. Next example. Returning a drawer into its position. That's an amazing example. In certain cases, replacing drawer on Shabbos can violate the prohibition against making an oil. This can occur with a drawer that is suspended beneath the table. If the drawer is removed, and then returned to its place on Shabbos, one is in effect creating walls beneath the roof. For the sides of the drawer are like walls. When they are moved to a new place, it is as if they have been newly erected on Shabbos. The tabletop is a roof. Thus, by replacing the drawer, one has created roof with 4 walls on Shabbos. Okay. So let's try to understand what we just said. Okay. There are some they call it the table or desk or whatever you have, and underneath you have there's no storage room. The only thing is a drawer. That drawer. So okay, so usually we don't remove the drawer. You just open the drawer, you pull it, right? You take whatever you need and you close. But let's say you took it out by mistake, whatever happened. So the question is if you can put it back. What is the problem? So the problem is the tabletop, the flat on top is considered to be considered to be roof. So now when you put the drawer underneath, it's like you created these walls under the roof. And they're wide enough and everything, so they say it could be a problem. Make sense or not? Okay. So and plus, okay. And so another thing. So since you remove the drawer, even by accident, so they already moved to a different location. So now when you put it back, it's like you move to a new location again. That's the thing. Continue. Of course, this prohibition is only if there is a tefach of the space between the tabletop and the bottom of the drawer. Otherwise, the tabletop is not considered a roof. Also, the sides of the drawer must be within the 3 tefachim of the ground. Okay. Otherwise, they're not regarded as well. Okay, so let's add this development to our case. So first of all, when we say that between the tabletop, right, and the bottom of the drawer, it should be at least one tefach, for sure. Should be one tefach because the definition of the roof. But the definition of the walls, we say that it should be like from 3 tefachim from the bottom. So of course, like it's not our regular table is not in this category. So I'm not sure all the tables. I'm not sure like 26 inches tall. I just speculate. So of course it's more than 3 tefachim from the bottom. But let's see. Continue. In case of a dresser, returning the drawer would not violate the prohibition of the oil. For the dresser has a sides, would not. Sides that remain in place when the drawer is removed. These sides are regarded as the walls of the oil. Since the oil already has the walls, before the drawer is returned, the act of returning it creates nothing that was not there before. Therefore, it is permitted. So I think that's an amazing example. So you have a dresser, right? So from top to bottom, you have four drawers. So even if you take one drawer out, the sides still stand. So you have top of the drawer, which is a roof. You have sides of the drawer, of the dresser, I apologize, of the dresser, which are the walls. You take a drawer out, you put it back, there is no problem. Continue. Next, yeah, go ahead.
Doesn't that all violate the malach of building? No?
It would if it's a big drawer. You're right. If it's a big dresser, it would be like it would be considered a building. So even this loose attachment, because it goes on the rails, would be forbidden. Correct? Yes.
So it would be forbidden even with a small one if it attached tightly, no?
Yeah. But okay. So a small one that attached to the wall also forbidden. Yes. To replace the drawer. Correct. But I guess he's for argument's sake, let's say it's a smaller drawer. So like for in child's room.
Why don't we at all say weekday activity? It looks like a weekday activity to switch a drawer.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Oh no, usually the drawers that don't if somebody put it. They would get out. Otherwise, they would stay there for 10 years, 20 years.
Exactly. So it looks like a weekday activity when someone takes.
No, it's not. It's not. What do you mean? The weekday activity to put it back or what? Or to?
I'm saying he takes out the box of the drawer, right, and replaces the box of the drawer. Looks like a repairman. No, doesn't.
No, it depends on what is it on the size. The attachment is not tight. So when we're talking about the building, right? So we said there are two types of attachment. One is tight, right? When you tight something, and one is loose attachment. So tight attachment, if it's like big piece of furniture, right? So it would be forbidden to loosely attach, even with the rails, or tightly attached with the screws or something like clamps.
So let's say this dresser I have in the back, right? That would be a big one, and it would be
Of
for
course. This one is there. It's big. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
So if you pull what is it called? Jump?
I don't know.
Yeah, when I accidentally took out the drawer, you're not allowed to put it back because it's huge, basically.
Got
it. Okay, so next example that I have, covering an open box. I mean, we already went over, but okay, so let's see. If person brings an open box from one place to another and covers with a board to create a seat, right? He has violated the prohibition of making temporary oil. By placing box in a new location, he created new walls. By covering it with a board, he has created a roof. One can avoid the problem by first setting up the roof and then setting up the walls. One does this by holding the board in place and slipping the box underneath it. Alternatively, one can turn the box upside down and place board on the closed bottom of the box. Since there is no tefach of empty space between the board and the bottom of the box, this does not violate the prohibition of the oil. So let's go back to example of our milk crate, this plastic box. Right? So if you, for example, he wants to sit on this milk crate, whatever reason, he wants to play with the child, right? He needs like something low to sit on. There is no problem. So he takes this milk crate. So if he puts like open side up, and he wants to put some piece of I don't know, like shelf or some piece of plywood, that's for sure is going to be built in an oil. You have walls, right, on new box. You moved it to another place. You rebuild these walls in another place, and you cover it, put on roof, and there is a modern tefach underneath. So the solution that this rabbi is saying, so if you put this this milk crate, the closed side up, you put this piece of plywood. There is no problem. Why? Because there is no tefach between the plywood and the bottom of the milk crate. Make sense? Okay, continue. Awnings. The collapsible awnings that is attached to the building, for example, an awning over the porch, may be open and closed on Shabbos, even though it is used to protect people from sun and rain. So this awnings, like we said, attached to the building, and you crank it so they say even though it is to protect the people, there is no problem. Okay, so let me see what time is it. Okay, so let's do one more and then we go to the question. I don't think we're going to finish. No, not just too much. So one more, a carriage hood. So carriage meaning baby carriage. It is forbidden to attach an unfolded hood to the top of the baby carriage on Shabbos. The hood is made to protect the baby from the elements. Therefore, attaching it violates the prohibition against making temporary oil. So if it was attached to the baby carriage, there is no problem, but attached to Shabbos, there is a problem. What if the hood is already attached and one wishes merely to unfold it? In this case, some poskim hold that it is permissible, while others maintain that it is forbidden. Right? So it was attached before, so if you can extend it, right? All agree, however, that if before Shabbos the hood was open sufficiently to cover an area of tefach, so like if it was open for 3 inches, so basically if you have small children, that's it always has to be in your mind to have to leave this hood open. One is permitted to extend it fully on Shabbos If possible, one should follow the stringent view and refrain from unfolding the hood of carriage unless it has been opened at least tefach before Shabbos. In case of the need, one may rely on lenient view. So lenient view, if it was attached before Shabbos, you can extend, no problem.
Right. So let's say I extend it, right? For the baby, but then I close it all the way on Shabbos. Am I allowed?
That's the problem.
I'm not allowed to open it again on Shabbos. Not allowed.
So yeah, I according to stringent view, yes, you're not allowed if you're completely closed. But if you leave a little open, the 3 inches, so that it would not. I think all of them you can open because you cannot completely close. This hood they take space, right? Like, right? Even when you close it, it's not really like tight like a book. It's not. It would be like, I don't know, 5-6 inches wide, I think.
Rabbi, why over here don't we say that it's made to do this? Before we brought out that it's made to do this purpose. Over here, 100% it's made to do this purpose.
No. But when say made to do, it's for building. But here we say it's a special case of the building is a building and oil, the tent. So that's the thing. But you're right. In all other cases, yes. So continue. This dispute applies also to closing the hood of the carriage on Shabbos. So closing, right? That's your question. Those who allow the hood to be open allow it to be closed as well, right? So those who do not allow it to be open do not allow to be closed either by the closing the hood. The hood one is in effect demolishing the roof. So we cannot build and we cannot demolish. Right? All agree that it is permissible to close the most of the way as long as one leaves a tefach of it open. If possible, one should follow the stringent view. So stringent view, do not close this roof or this hood completely, just leave a little space open. And one case, I apologize, I missed to say about this milk crate, is when you do it in a reverse order. So as we said before, what is the correct order to build the roof? You put the wall, you extend the wall, and you put the roof. But if you put the roof and then put the wall, so it's not halakhically like you build in an oil. So they say if you want to put this milk crate, and on the milk crate you want to put this piece of plywood. So they say put piece of plywood. Somebody is holding, and another person like pushing this milk crate under the plywood. So reverse order. Okay, so we stop here. Any questions? Please go ahead.
Yes. The first question is: are wedding rings for men goyish?
Say it again.
Wedding rings for men.
Oh yes. Okay. Yes.
Are they goyish?
Oh yeah. I apologize. So okay. So let me explain what David is asking, because I'm going to be your mitargum. Mitargum is rabbi is talking, and mitargum is usually younger guy who explains with a loud voice. So okay. So David is asking. So we have a Jewish wedding, and usually only groom gives a ring to the bride, right? Bride does not give him anything, right? So, but if we see that not Jewish wedding, the bride would give him back, right? Why? It's all about equality, right? He gets back, and he gives her something. He has to get back something. So it's not Jewish way. So because you see, these non-Jews that they took things from us, but they don't know the meaning. You understand? So they completely distorted it. They took out of context. In olden days, there were two stages of the marriage, right? One stage is like I think it's called nisuim, when he said, "Do you want to marry me?" and he proposed here some gift of value. So you usually ring, but it could be anything above the pruta. Pruta is the smallest coin. So if she agreed to marry me for a bubble gum, pump of bubble gum, which is more than pruta, okay, we married. If she said only if you give me 5-story building and $5 million, that's your price, right? So this ring, that's what it represents. You understand? So, but when I'm getting married, right? I'm acquiring my wife I'm acquiring my wife. So it's exactly 100% business transaction. When you buy something from somebody, nobody gives maybe change, okay? But that's why I give this ring to her, and she belongs to me. So she does not give me anything. I mean, you understand? So it's 100% non-Jewish custom. I mean, but they did not have this concept, so that's why they did all this. Yeah, go ahead.
What about rings in general?
For men?
Yeah.
Okay, so in all around halacha, it says signet ring. So it's like a big ring, and like they would put like a stamp. And this like fancy schmancy ring. So I think I'm not sure, but I think even on Shabbos they would allow to go men with this ring. I mean, men can wear jewelry on Shabbos for decorative purposes, decoration. He wants to wear bracelet, I don't know, whatever ring, so there is no problem. I mean, we suspect. I mean, why would, okay, whatever, doesn't matter. But it is allowed. It is allowed for decoration.
Understood. Now, the second question is like this. If someone breaks Shabbos privately, okay, out of what's it called, desire, are we allowed to count him in a minion? Someone constantly breaks Shabbos in private out of desire.
But how? But you just said privately. How do I know what he does privately?
Because only I know. Nobody else knows, so it's privately.
So only you know. Let's say he's your neighbor, right? And then you see through the window that he does that he watches TV on Shabbos, right?
Exactly.
Let's say, right? Or he smokes. He like sticks the head out of the window and he smokes in. Okay, only snooze. Technically no, because he's not Shomer Shabbos. Yes, you're not allowed to count him.
Oh, you're not allowed. Okay, got it. So if someone sins publicly, doesn't matter because he hates HaShem or because of desire, doesn't matter.
Exactly. That's a Kiruv HaShem. So that as we'll start learning yesterday, right? There are two categories of people. I mean, we didn't finish, but we just started. One who sins out of desire, it's a lower level, right? And higher level is a one who like in everybody's face that HaShem said that, and I do not care. So this person is Epicurus, basically.
So
and that person you're allowed to hate, who goes like publicly against HaShem. That one person who does things out of desire, you're not allowed to hate.
Understood. But what's it called? So I get this Rambam, the Rambam Rabbi Reuven likes to quote, I get used that against me now because it says if he publicly violates Shabbos, over he's not publicly violating, so how is he considered a goy?
Okay. Because you saw him doing that, so you have to report to the authorities in the shul. Yeah.
Understood. Okay.
So they have to ask him. Maybe it was one-time incident. Maybe he did Teshuva after that. You have to do an investigation. Maybe he feels bad. I mean, he started feeling pain in his back, and they did Teshuva. He said it's probably because I smoked on Shabbos for the past 3 weeks. Okay, I'm going to stop. So basically, he's a honest person, right? So you have to do your investigation. If he does it publicly, so he said he's shown to the whole world, I do not care. I do not care what you think. But if he's still hiding himself, we have to give him credit. That's some sign that he's embarrassed, that he knows that he does something wrong. That's a big difference.
Understood. Next question is, Rabbi Reuven said that you learn Tanakh through Gemara, right? So basically, okay. So my question is, does it make any sense for us beginners, to learn Tanakh at all? Like, let's say arts? No, doesn't.
Okay. So on Thursday, I have this class when we learn Tanakh with a commentary. If you ask me if I remember too much of it, no. So it's all of these rebukes of the prophets. Now we learn Yecheskel. I mean, we decided to go through the Tanakh like many years. We decided to go no matter what. So, but you cannot do it in expense of halach. You cannot do it in expense of daily, weekly portion of Mizrash. You cannot do it, right? So if you have extra time, so in that group we learn Rambam, we learn Mishnah, and the third we learn Talmud, and the first class we decided to do Tanakh. So in this case, it's allowed. But otherwise, all of these verses, like you don't know what they're talking about, and then you go to the commentary. So basically, I'm not talking about against Tanakh, but it should be like not on the top of your priorities. That's
so. Let's say someone studies halacha, right? But he writes stuff down, so it takes longer. Or let's say chumash, but it takes longer because he writes it down. Would it be worthwhile at all to not write down? Okay, still study Tanakh, finish the. Still study chumash, finish the parsha, and so on and so forth. But to find time to study Tanakh with mafarshim
no. When you write down things, you remember better. So you will not remember this, and I'm telling. I mean, I found some verses, some explanation, like I like very much and stuff like that that we quote very often. But otherwise, I mean, it's there are more important things. I'm not minimizing it, but there is critical things that we have to learn, like halach, like we do now. Okay. Any other questions? Israel?
Here.
Go ahead.
Is civil union valid or not valid for Gentiles?
It's 100% valid, 100%. So you see, as I told you, these Gentiles took some things out of the context. So because the Jews do chuppah, they create some kind of chuppah in their churches, right? Muslim, I don't know what Muslims do, right? The thing is, for Gentiles, it's one of the 7 laws is that they cannot have incest, right? And they cannot cheat on their spouse, basically, right? Meaning what? That Chris and Christina met in a bar today. They went back, they husband and wife, right? So the next morning or 2 days later, they can separate. He said, Christina, bye-bye, I'm going my way, you stay in your house. So that's it, there's legal separation. So, but this Chris cannot have two Christinas at the same time. That's the thing. You understand? So there is no legal marriage for them. There is no, and they're not sinners, but the church made them look like they're sinners because they did not get married. It's absolutely not true.
So most part of the world, there is from one part is union by church, and the second is a civil union. And so this civil union, which is in the legislation, is not valid.
No, it's valid. I think that's what I said. It's absolutely 100% valid.
So if the Noahide wife, you can call as that, cheats on her husband.
Yeah, the legitimate kids. There is no problem whatsoever.
So she must assume the consequence of that are in the civil law.
You see, okay, so let me tell you why they should get married anyway, right? Because there are many other legal issues. For example, inheritance, or when one of the spouses are sick, so since they are married, so she can take care of make decision for him, or he can make legal decision for her. You understand? Or they purchase things together. Like that's it's advisable, but if they don't marry, like in a legal way, there is no problem whatsoever.
I asked
this, no problem.
Because I asked this because since it's the marriage is say that it is Gentiles copied it from the Jews,
Yeah.
So I thought that maybe the civil union, which is also some copycat of the, I don't remember how it's called in the Jewish the Ketuvah.
Ksuba.
So I thought it was not valid in the Gentile world, the equivalent of the Ketuvah.
Okay, so Ksuba, what they have, they recently invented this prenuptial agreement. We had forever. That's our, so, but step back, right? So in olden days, I think before the giving of the Torah, right? The people would get married in 3 ways, right? They could sign the contract. So I mean, I'm talking about Jews, right? So they can sign contracts. So that my daughter is going to marry your son, one, right? Second, he can give you some object of value. And third one, that he can just have relations with her. They met on the marketplace. They went to his place, had relations, and they're married legally. So now, if she wants to go like somewhere else, she has to get divorced. So three simple ways. So one more time, contract. She accepted some object of value and said, "I'm going to be your wife." So you don't need witnesses. That's simple way, and relations. So when our rabbis say, when we were given the Torah, they said that's too much. We're going to put all the 3 conditions in one. So now when we get married, we do three things, right? You have to sign contract, you have to give your object of value, and you have to have relations. If person does not have relations with your wife, they're not 100% married.
Also, I ask this because the main purpose that people married in the past, before all the new international treaties, it was to avoid anyone, whether whoever, man or woman, to cheat on each other. Okay. So now the international law put almost in every country, for example, in Argentina, is that part of the civil union is removed, so the woman can cheat on his husband freely. So what Judaism says about this?
Okay, Rabbi Reuven just recently, they circulated the poster, right? The biggest filter, the best filter, the 100% proof filter is Yiras Shamayim. So if person is not God-fearing, he has he's been he signed the 100 contracts and he gave you 1,000 rings, he's going to still cheat on her. You understand? This law does not make any difference to this person. If he has desires, nobody is going to stop him. You understand? Civil union, that union, this, it doesn't matter.
Another way of asking this, are Gentiles allowed to legislate about some law that prevents man or woman to cheat on each other? It's allowed to.
Well, yes, they are allowed 100%, and it's very commendable. Well, one of the 7 laws of Noah, right, is to establish a court system and develop laws that can produce a healthy society. So if the country decides that's better for family to protect for whatever reason, so that they absolutely, that's a good law, absolutely.
So as you probably know, most of the law or members of the UN, they remove in almost every country in the world this part of the civil union. So now, for example, in Argentina is one case that is not longer a crime of any type that someone cheat on each other.
Okay, no, even if they're married like legally, they can see it's everywhere. So I mean, this piece of paper does not stop anybody.
Yeah, but for example, in Argentina, in the past, before these new international treaties, it was a criminal offense to cheat.
Okay, I see. I didn't know.
And now they removed, not because the country itself, not because it was some kind of treatise from about feminism, from above, not from.
I see.
I have another question if we have
Please,
time.
Go ahead.
Putting a mosquito net, we were talking about the building. If there is an area of lethal mosquitoes with carriers, lethal viruses, can you ignore this part?
Where exactly you want to put this net? In a window? Where?
No. I think we were talking about putting over covering the
baby carriage.
Yes.
The baby carriage. So these are to cover it. So you have baby carriage, and then there are mosquito. If you wanted to, I'm sorry, on the baby carriage. So it is 100% roof. Just because it's net, it does not make it not roof. It is a roof.
Yeah, got it.
So if you do it in a smart way, as we said, first you create roof, and then one parent, let's say she is going to hold the net in place, and he is going to push the baby carriage underneath. There is no problem. So you create a roof in a reverse order.
But if you are alone and there are mosquitoes which are prone to carrying some lethal disease like malaria.
Yes.
Are you allowed to ignore this procedure?
It's not that you ignore. So that one, because it's a danger to the human life, which is a little baby. So you can postpone it in this case. Yes, correct. Since it is rabbinic anyway. So because in a baby carriage there is no walls. There are not two walls. Correct. That's rabbinic. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And it's rabbinic and it's not permanent. Okay.
Rabbi,
yes.
So important question, and that is, how do we light candles Shabbos, before Shabbos? For Hanukkah.
How do we light candles before Shabbos?
For Hanukkah.
For Hanukkah. So okay, exactly. So tomorrow is Hanukkah and Shabbos at the same time. So first you light the candles for Shabbos. For Hanukkah, but make sure they use longer. If you use candles, make sure that the candle is going to burn minimum like 1 hour and 15 minutes. The longer the better. If you have 3 hours candle, that would be the best, right? Because you light it very early before the nightfall, and the condition is that in order for you to fulfill obligation of lighting Hanukkah candle, they have to burn 40 minutes into the night. So after the nightfall, it's 40 minutes. So if you light Shabbos candles 18 minutes before the sunset, plus from sunset until the nightfall. So it's they say minimum of the minimum, actually half an hour. I apologize, not 40 minutes, half an hour into the night. So it's they say at least like 1 hour and 15 minutes, 1.5 hours. It depends. Yeah. Okay.
Well, how much after Shkia exactly?
It's not after Shkia. Shkia is a sunset. I'm talking about nightfall. So from nightfall, it has to burn after nightfall 30 minutes.
By nightfall we mean 72, right?
No. 3 stars. Okay, 3 stars with 54. Or 45 minutes, 46 minutes, yeah.
So it's going to be not 72, 46 minutes.
No,
okay.
yes, 46
minutes. Okay,
so since on Shabbos you're not allowed to create fire, so first you light the Hanukkah candles, right? And then you go and light Shabbos candles. That's it. So just make sure before you start the Shabbos candles that these Hanukkah candles that actually burning and all is good, then you're allowed to go. Like don't leave it, because if something like would go off, you're not allowed to fix it. That's it. It's too late.
Yeah.
So give yourself like another extra 5-10 minutes before lighting, and that's it. Yeah. Okay.
So just to be clear, 46 minutes, 45 minutes after Shkia, around there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Approximate. I'm not check.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If not, so.
Oh, yeah.
So let-
One more. So I asked. Yeah. So I asked you this, but later you'll answer, please. So basically, UD, right? We say UD b'diavad is allowed, okay? Because Reb Moshe.
OUD.
Yeah. Okay, we say b'diavad it's allowed. So my question is to you, in regards to, let's say I want a snack, right? And I don't really need it. I just want for taste. Am I allowed to have OUD at that point?
You're allowed to have, yes.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. That's it. We stop here. Okay, so let me stop recording and we'll talk about tomorrow. 1 second.
בוקר טוב, מתחילים להוציא את כל המשטחים. מתחילים להוציא אותם החוצה, עם כל המשטחים יושבים בפנים בתוך המחסן. מחכים עכשיו ליציאה. מתחילים לעלות 6 בבוקר, מתחילים לצאת. עשיתי פה היום 3 משאיות. הנה המשאית עמוסה, מוכנה, מלא משטחים, מחכים, סחורה א'. כל הסחורה יבוא חול. תפוחים, חצילים, קישואים. והנה אנחנו פה עכשיו ברחוב יואל בבני ברק. כאן יש פה רק 15 משפחות. שפע, ברוך השם, שיהיה לכולם לחג. והנה הגיע הבשר. איזה כפור. תוך עננה.
פלפלים קפואים.
זה קפואים של הירקות. המשטחים הפנים. עופות.